All right, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. You've got a star player coming off a monster year. A huge payday is coming, right? Should be simple. Well, not so fast. Because when you're talking about America's team, nothing is ever simple. We're going to dive into why what should be a straightforward contract negotiation is about to become the biggest, loudest drama of the entire offseason.
So the big question is, why? Why is this thing guaranteed to be a long, drawn-out public spectacle? I mean, why does every single person who follows this stuff know it's going to get messy? You might think, hey, it's just about the money, right? Finding the right number, figuring out the years. Nope, that's not it at all.
See, the real reason this all gets so complicated, it has zero to do with football or stats or even the salary cap. It all comes down to the psychology of one single person, the man who signs the checks, the owner, the president, the GM, the one and only Jerry Jones. And believe me, to get a handle on this negotiation, you first have to get inside his head. So let's do exactly that. Let's try and understand the psychology of this billionaire negotiator. Because this isn't just some guy in a suit who owns a team. Oh no, this is a man where his personality, his entire life story, it's all baked into how he cuts a deal. And that makes him one of the most unique and frankly, one of the most difficult people to negotiate with in all of sports. Okay, just to give you some perspective on the world we're talking about here, we're not just dealing with a football team. It's an absolute empire. The Dallas Cowboys are valued at almost, get this, $14 billion with a B. And Jerry's not done, not even close. He's talking about pushing that to 20, 25, maybe even 30 billion. You gotta understand he is playing a completely different game than anybody else. And Stephen A. Smith, who's followed Jerry for years, summed up his mentality perfectly. He said Jerry's thinking is basically, how dare you think that you deserve more than what I'm offering you? And that right there gets to the heart of it. For Jerry, it's not just business, it is deeply personal. He sees it as a genuine personal insult when one of his players, an employee, has the audacity to ask for more than what he has already decided they're worth.
But here's the thing you have to understand. This ironclad mindset, it wasn't born out of all this success. It wasn't created in the luxury boxes of his giant stadium or by hoisting Super Bowl trophies. No, it was forged in struggle and fire. It comes from a time decades ago when Jerry Jones was staring into the abyss, on the verge of losing absolutely everything.
I mean, just try to imagine this. Right after he buys the Cowboys, he gets slapped with 3 separate billion-dollar lawsuits. His financial situation was so bad, he was in dire straits, and his family was genuinely terrified for him. He talks about literally going from bank to bank, just doing whatever he could to stay afloat. An experience like that, it changes you. It never, ever leaves you. And that memory is baked into the DNA of every single deal he makes today.
So you take that history, that psychology forged in near disaster, and what do you get? You get the Jerry Jones playbook. It is a very specific, very predictable, and, let's be honest, very effective set of tactics. And you can bet he pulls it out every single time a star player is up for a new contract. So let's break down exactly how he plays the game.
All right, so here are the 4 basic steps. Step 1, he creates headlines. He loves the drama. The public back and forth keeps the Cowboys in the news, and to him, all press is good press. Step 2, he waits and waits and waits. He knows the deadline, and trust me, he will use every last minute he has. Step 3 is his trump card, his ace in the hole, the franchise tag. And finally, step 4, he uses the power of the Dallas Cowboys brand itself against the player. Okay, so what exactly is this franchise tag? If you're not familiar, it is probably the single most powerful weapon an owner has in these situations. It basically lets the team point out a player and say, nope, you're not going anywhere. You're playing for us next year on a 1-year contract for a salary that we determine. End of story. It just completely strips away a player's ability to become a free agent. And here's why that stings so much for the player. Let's say your market value, what other teams would pay you, is over $30 million a year. But the franchise tag salary is maybe around $28 million. The team is looking you dead in the eye and telling you, we know you're worth more, but we're forcing you to take millions less. I mean, how could you not feel totally disrespected by that? And this gets us to that wild final piece of the playbook. Jerry Jones actually genuinely believes that players should give him a discount just for the privilege of being a Dallas Cowboy. His argument is that because the brand is so big, players can make so much extra money on endorsements and commercials that they should be willing to take less on their actual contract. In his mind, that's a totally fair deal. Okay, so now let's flip this around.
Put yourself in the player's shoes for a second. You're staring across the table at this billionaire who has a rigid, unchangeable way of thinking and a playbook designed to get every last penny out of you. What on earth do you do? Because the choice you make right now, it could literally define your entire career.
And really, it comes down to two options, and neither of them is great. Option 1, you swallow your pride and play on that 1-year prove-it deal. You're betting on yourself, but one wrong step, one bad injury, and poof, your career could be over with no long-term financial security. Or option 2, you hold out. You refuse to step on the field until you get that big, multi-year deal you know you deserve. And the pressure cooker is just getting started. To Jerry, everything is a power play, a move on the chessboard. There was this one situation where another star player, Micah Parsons, was just standing nearby while the player in question was getting interviewed. That's it. But in Jerry's mind, oh, that's no accident. He sees that as one teammate influencing another, challenging his authority. That's the level of personal it gets.
So just put yourself there for a second. You've got teammates who have been through this grinder before, pulling you aside, telling you these absolute horror stories. Every time you think about stepping on the field, you're thinking about that one catastrophic injury that could end it all. And all the while, every single day, your name, your face, your contract, it's all over the news. The weight of all that must be just crushing.
So, all of this, every single piece we've talked about, it's setting the stage for what is without a doubt going to be the story of the entire offseason. The question isn't if there's going to be a standoff. The only question is how long and how ugly is it going to get?
Because really, when you boil it all down, that's what we're watching. This isn't just about money, it's a fundamental clash. It's a modern athlete's right to be paid what the market says he's worth, slamming head-on into the old-school, battle-tested, unshakable philosophy of one of the most powerful men in sports. And you can see the conflict right here. You've got the player's leverage, which is their incredible performance on the field. Then you've got the owner's leverage, his big sticks, the franchise tag, and the power of that Cowboys brand. And right in the middle, fanning the flames, the media, loving every second of the drama.
And let's end on this critical point, something you can never forget when you're watching this unfold. All this drama, all this stress that drives the player and the fans crazy. For Jerry Jones, that's not a bug, it's a feature. It's part of the plan. The Cowboys are the #1 topic of conversation every single day. The brand is everywhere. And in Jerry's world, that's a win.
So, it all boils down to one simple, epic question. In a battle of ego, money, and sheer power, who blinks first? The player fighting for what he's worth, or the owner who refuses to lose? We're all about to find out.